Today, we talk about obsessive thoughts. These thoughts can be puzzling, irrational, and frustrating. And if you've ever found yourself caught in a cycle of compulsive thinking, you're not alone. Have you ever experienced these strange, intrusive thoughts? For instance, imagine a situation from childhood where your family member is late coming home. You might suddenly feel this unease, this anxiety bubbling up inside you. And before you even realize it, your mind starts flooding with worst-case scenarios. Could it be a car accident? What if something terrible has happened? Or maybe the thoughts go even further, spiraling into a whirlwind of worries, imagining that something awful is about to happen. The reality is calm, but in your mind, a tragedy is already playing out, as if your brain is preparing for the worst. And these thoughts don't stop there. They continue uncontrollably. Perhaps you worry about someone you love suddenly falling ill, or even passing away without warning. It's unsettling, isn't it? These thoughts emerge without any warning, without any real reason to fear, and yet they seem to sneak in when you're least expecting it, especially when you believe you're safe and everything seems fine. You might find yourself checking things repeatedly before leaving the house: your phone, keys, wallet, or ID. Even though they're in their rightful place, the feeling doesn't go away. It's like something is wrong, but you can't quite figure out what it is. You try to move on, but that feeling just lingers, gnawing at you, and you can't shake it off. And then there's the compulsion to check the door. Even though you know it's locked, you turn back again, only to check one more time. This cycle repeats, and you can't help but feel that if you don't double check, something might go wrong. It's like this invisible force pushing you to make sure everything is perfect, even though you already know it's fine. Why does this happen? Why do we feel like we need to confirm everything, again and again, when logically we know it's unnecessary? It's as if our minds believe that if we don't keep checking, we're somehow neglecting an important responsibility, or, worse, inviting disaster into our lives. You might also hold yourself to impossibly high standards. Every task, every small thing you do has to be perfect. A single mistake, a tiny typo, a slight imbalance, even a detail that no one else will notice, feels like a catastrophic failure. You obsess over these small flaws, replaying them over and over in your mind, trying to fix them, even though you know that no one else would even care. This is where perfectionism comes in. You might recognize that it's not healthy, but you find yourself unable to stop. You feel that every imperfection, no matter how small, is a reflection of your inadequacy, a reminder that you haven't done enough, that you're not good enough, and that others will see that too. But the truth is, this isn't your fault. You've simply been caught in the grip of a psychological mechanism known as obsessive thinking. These thoughts aren't something you consciously create or choose. They're automatic, like an emergency alert system that triggers without you asking for it. In psychology, these thoughts are known as intrusive thoughts, and they're often the result of an overactive mind that's trying to protect you from perceived threats, but going overboard. This is a defense mechanism, but it's overactive and misaligned with reality. Obsessive thinking is a form of mental noise that creates unnecessary stress and anxiety. Intrusive thoughts usually pop up when you're least expecting them, often when you're at ease and have let your guard down. And when they do appear, they force you to double-check things, question your actions, or even replay moments over and over again in your mind. The more you try to push them away, the more persistent they become. The more you want them to go away, the more they seem to stick to you. It's like trying to swat away an annoying fly, only for it to come back every time you think it's gone. The real issue is that these thoughts are your brain's way of overreacting to perceived threats. Your brain has mistaken harmless situations for dangers, triggering your fight or flight response. Even when there's no real risk, your mind insists that you need to act on these thoughts. Check everything again, confirm your actions, or ensure you've done things perfectly. It's as if your brain is trying to protect you from something that doesn't actually exist, making you feel like every small thing you do is a potential disaster waiting to happen. But this overactive response is not a reflection of your weakness. It's a sign that your brain has been overstretched, hyper-aware, and on high alert, even in the absence of actual danger. The irony of obsessive thinking is that the more you try to control your thoughts, the more they take control over you. You may think that by obsessing over the details, you can prevent something bad from happening, but in reality, you're just feeding the cycle. The more you focus on the thoughts, the more they intensify, and the more they drive you to act on them, leading you to repeat unnecessary checks and confirmations. It's a vicious cycle that doesn't end, even though you know deep down that it's unnecessary. This struggle isn't because you're fragile or weak. It's not because you lack the ability to handle life's uncertainties. On the contrary, you're trying too hard. You're overanalyzing, overthinking, and overreacting to things that don't actually need your attention. You're too afraid of making mistakes, too fearful of losing control, and too concerned about what others might think. These protective instincts may have originally served a purpose. Perhaps they stemmed from a place of love, wanting to protect yourself or others from harm. However, over time, these coping mechanisms have gone astray and become a burden. What began as a protective mechanism to shield you from danger has now evolved into a set of mental rituals that drain you, trapping you in an endless cycle of doubt and anxiety. You feel like you're trapped in a performance you never agreed to, one you're compelled to repeat over and over, even though it's not helping you anymore. These thoughts are not your fault, nor are they a reflection of who you are as a person. They are merely the result of your brain trying to make sense of the world and keep you safe. But somewhere along the way, this protective system became unbalanced, and now it's causing more harm than good. So, how can you break free from this endless cycle of obsessive thinking and regain control of your mind? The first step is to accept the thoughts instead of trying to push them away. You may think that in order to stop obsessing over these thoughts, you need to fight them or repress them. But in reality, the more you resist these intrusive thoughts, the more they will persist. It's like trying to suppress a beach ball underwater. The harder you push, the more it resurfaces. The key to managing obsessive thinking is to allow the thoughts to come and go without giving them power over your actions. The more you care about these thoughts and try to fight them, the stronger they become. This is the paradox of obsessive thinking. The more attention you give it, the more it controls you. Instead of fighting, try acknowledging the thoughts. Say to yourself, this thought has come, and that's okay. I don't need to act on it. I can let it pass. By accepting the thought without judgment, you begin to take away its power. The goal isn't to eliminate these thoughts completely, but to allow them to exist without letting them dictate your actions or emotions. Imagine these thoughts as passing clouds in the sky. They come and go, and you don't have to chase after them or try to push them away. You simply acknowledge their presence and let them pass. It's crucial to remember that these thoughts are not your fault. They are the brain's overactive defense mechanism trying to protect you from perceived threats. The challenge is not to eliminate these thoughts, but to stop reacting to them in ways that reinforce the cycle. The more you fight against them, the more they reinforce the feeling of danger and anxiety. You don't need to entertain these thoughts. You don't need to act on them. You simply need to let them come and go without letting them control your behavior. The second step is to reduce your reaction to the thoughts and refocus on the present moment. When anxiety strikes, your first instinct might be to double-check, confirm, or replay the event over and over in your mind, trying to figure out what went wrong or what might go wrong. You might believe that by obsessing over the details and getting everything perfect, you can somehow banish the anxiety. But in reality, the more you focus on the anxiety, the stronger it becomes. Instead of feeding into the cycle of checking and confirming, the key is to do the opposite. Take action despite the anxiety. It's not about making the anxiety go away. It's about moving forward with your life, even while the anxiety is still present. For example, let's say you're about to leave the house and you feel the urge to check the door one more time. You've already confirmed that it's locked, but the thought nags at you to check again. Instead of giving in, try telling yourself gently, I've already checked, the door is locked, and now I'm choosing to walk away. In that moment, you're not trying to get rid of the thought. You're simply choosing to act in spite of it. You are not allowing the thought to dictate your actions. This is one of the most powerful tools you have in breaking the cycle of obsessive thinking, acting in spite of the thoughts, not because of them. When those worst-case scenarios start to flood your mind, instead of spiraling into the thoughts and letting them take you to places of anxiety and fear, try gently shifting your attention back to the present. Focus on what is real in the moment, not on hypothetical situations that may never happen. It's like when your mind starts imagining something terrible happening to someone you love. The key is not to focus on the what-ifs, but to bring your attention back to the present reality, what's happening right now, not what could happen in the future. The key is not to react, but to continue moving forward, living your life, despite the anxiety. What's important here is that you're not trying to control your thoughts or push them away. Instead, you're practicing the art of redirecting your focus back to what matters in the moment. You're training yourself to live life as it unfolds, instead of living in your head, trying to predict and control every possible outcome. These obsessive thoughts are not a reflection of who you are as a person. They are simply an overactive defense mechanism. Over time, they become a mental habit, one that you may have developed to protect yourself from perceived dangers. But now, they've started to trap you. They no longer serve the protective purpose they once did. In fact, they're now holding you back from living a full, authentic life. The good news is that you can retrain your brain. You don't need to immediately let go of everything, and you don't need to be perfect. You can start small. You can begin by checking just once instead of 5 times, or doubting a little less. Every time you reduce your reaction, you're taking a step toward breaking free from the cycle. Start with small, gentle steps. If you feel the urge to check something again, remind yourself that you've already checked it. If you catch yourself spiraling into worst-case scenarios, gently shift your focus to what's actually happening right now. It's not about making the anxiety go away instantly. It's about choosing to move forward in spite of it, slowly but surely retraining your brain to let go of its need to overreact. It's important to remember that you're not alone in this. Obsessive thinking is more common than you might think. It's something that many people struggle with, even though they may not talk about it openly. You're not weak, and you're not broken. You're simply dealing with a psychological mechanism that, for various reasons, has become unbalanced. But you can change it. You can take back control of your life, one small step at a time.